OTCR, the radio that shines and shares its light with you. OTC, OTC, OTCR, OTC, OTC, OTCR. Hello and welcome. Welcome to OTCR. I'm your host today, Sprinkles Nixon, and I got to tell you, we have an awesome, most delightful guest today. Her name is Lesley Shepherd. Lesley, are you there with us, hon?
I am, and it's beautiful to be on your show.
Ah, thank you. I'm so glad that you're here. And I usually will give it like go into an intro of telling a little bit about you, but I think the guests should take that because that they would know more than I could possibly imagine.
That's a good cop out. Brilliant.
Yes, we try to find the little funny things around. um, so seriously, you're an intuitive, you're a healer, you're
Yeah.
among other things, you're do you do past life regressions as well, or no? It's
I
just
don't do regressions simply
okay.
because I do automatic writing, and the writings can usually tell you. So I get the person to do it for themselves, and once they start the automatic writing, they can ask their guides as to what their past lives were. So obviously, that's
Ah,
how I got to know my past lives in that way.
oh, interesting. So you're what is it again, Han? Oh, the writing,
Yes,
automatic writing.
it's called automatic writing. I call it auto write for short.
Ah,
And basically, you would go into a meditational trance-like state, and you are quite aware of what you're doing. You're looking at the piece of paper. You've got pen poised, and you have a photograph of who you would like to contact. And I chose one of my members of family, which um, I knew I was safe with that entity
mhm.
when I first started to do it, because there are lower entities and there are higher entities. And if you go with family, then you know that they don't wish you any harm. So I would start with a photograph of the member of family and then started to write. Obviously, the member of family would be in the spirit world. And then it just progressed from there, where I was getting guides, information channeling down. And the automatic writing started off with just a few words at first, and it took a long while for me to get those few words off, because it was the pen was scribbling
Uh-huh.
like a doodle. So with practice, the words started to form, and I found that as I tried to guide the pen myself and not let the pen guide me, then I was, the words wasn't tumbling out as how I wished them to. So therefore, they don't exactly hold the pen for you, I found. You have to hold the pen as if you're writing to someone. And a lot
Oh,
of people, fall down at that actual part.
uh-huh. Wow. So
So, so
good.
sorry, Victor.
No, go ahead.
Go on.
No,
So,
you go
so
ahead.
that's fine. We don't want to fight over it.
True.
So basically, family started to come into my writings, and I've been doing this now from 1988. to
Mm-hmm.
present day. And I always wondered every time I went to throw those scripts out, throw those pieces of paper out, something stopped me. And then I
Mm-hmm.
realised that those scripts would be helpful to lots of other people.
Mm-hmm.
So I then found a beautiful printer down in Exeter in England, and we negotiated, and he said he could do my books for a certain amount of money, and I got them printed and self-published in that way. So really, I am looking for another
Wow.
publisher. I need an agent to get into a publisher in America, apparently.
Uh-huh.
So I'm always open to anybody who can get my books published in America, because I feel across the pond that's where you need to make it.
Uh-huh. Yes, yes. So, so how many books have you written altogether?
I've written 4 books.
Wow.
The first 3 books is done as a trilogy. It's called A Diary Through Spirit, and the second book, A Diary Through Spirit Intellectually, and then the third, completing that trilogy, is A Diary Through Spirit Masters to Masters. Now, it's as the title suggests. The first book being someone who's grieving for a lost soul, someone who is feeling very low,
Uh-huh.
and they read that first book and it gives them upliftment because there's
Oh.
photographs in there of all those that contact me. There's photographs in there of 3 generations of my family and how when
Wow.
they passed over, they actually wrote to me. And I would like to encourage the public to do that for themselves. So that's the first book. The second one is a teaching book. That's more of a tutorial, like this title suggests. It's for those that want to know a little bit more. They already know that life after life does exist, but
Uh-huh.
they want to know who's guiding them or how it changes your life. So
Yeah.
although it's in a diary form, it's more from the spirit. It's coming from spirit's diary of what happens to them rather than what's happening to me.
Wow.
So the third book is the most interesting one that I've ever written, and that's called A Diary Through Spirit Masters to Masters, and that involves off-world. So therefore I'm getting bridging guides from other existences, which we would call
Oh,
extraterrestrial.
really? Oh my
Yes.
goodness. Wow. Now you see you got me hooked. I'm already on book 1, book 2, and book 3. So continue. Wow, that is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, well, I've actually written 70,000 words into my first book of my second trilogy, but really and truly I had to stop because my editor she's more living in England now more than in Spain, so we
Mm-hmm.
couldn't sit next to each other, which we bounce off each other. So we've
Mm-hmm.
yet to get that sorted out really,
Mm-hmm.
of when I visit England to sit with her in that way. So it's new to her at the moment. She's only just moved back to England,
Mm-hmm.
so. I decided to, with her beside me, we wrote a book for animal lovers.
Mm-hmm.
So we grieve over our pets more than we do over our siblings or members of family
Really?
sometimes.
Oh my.
So
Well,
so
they are
we,
family when they become
well, they are.
family.
They are. And she had a wonderful galgo, a large dog, and I
Mm-hmm.
had a beautiful ginger tomcat, and we'd had them for 10 or more years, and they died within months of each other. And that was just as if Spirit was saying, you're grieving too much. Don't stop the book you started on, but write this book. This book needs to get out there. So I wrote it, but I haven't actually, I've had it published, but I've self-published it. So you can only get the printed copy from me, not from Amazon, whereas the trilogy is there at Amazon as in ebook.
Oh, wow. And in the ebooks, yeah. So, uh, tell them where they can get a hold of it. What is your website at? And you said you said the rest of them are on Amazon except for the one?
Yes, yes, that's
Okay.
correct. It's gone to Spirit with Love. That's the only book that's not at Amazon at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
But if they want to procure a copy, then just message me, in whatever way,
Mm-hmm.
and I can get back to them. But I need an email address to get back to them. So the messaging services on Messenger or
Mm-hmm.
Skype, I will answer them either way. Um, so the trilogy starts very, very cheap because I wanted those that are grieving, to be able to whatever, because people haven't got the money these days.
Mm-hmm.
So I put it on Amazon at £2.50 sterling, and that is very cheap. compared
Mm-hmm.
with other books, so that more and more people would be able to have it to help themselves,
Mm-hmm.
basically. So that's on. If you go into Kindle ebooks, or it's under Amazon, but if you go under Amazon, then look for Kindle ebooks, you'll find it. And incidentally, if you have a Kindle book
Mm-hmm.
reader, then you will be able to hear it. It's in audio form. So
Oh,
people that that people that can't, some people, especially the elderly people, and they're going through a state of mind whereby they can't follow sentences,
yes, yes.
then especially if you're Alzheimer's or you're sort of a little dementia,
Uh-huh.
then the audio book is worth sort of downloading and using it just as the audio book.
Oh, awesome, awesome. And I don't know about that, but I know I have Kindle, and it's a free
Mm,
program. So
yes,
yeah, make sure you can get through that as well. And
yeah.
these sound fabulous, Leslie.
Mm,
I just when I met you just prior,
mm.
um, I didn't even think of author, but this is a delightful surprise because you do automatic writing, and all your automatic writing is going into these books. Isn't that
Hmm.
correct?
That's correct, and it's channeled. It's the
Yeah.
same, and I also channel by voice as well. So I'm just working on some videos at the moment whereby I will be putting them on my timeline when I know the technology to do it.
Uh,
Because because of my age, I'm not up with all the technology. So
you and me both. I'm not up to all this. I gotta tell you, but it's like a challenge, and it's a fun, and it's another
oh
journey to encompass. And you should do what you love to do. And
yeah,
if you're having fun, go for it. Go with the
yes.
gusto.
Well, you see, this is what I miss really, Pat, because
Mm,
I have actually held circles, and I miss the guides channeling through my voice box to help the circle. So I
mm,
do miss that. So I think the next step really is to get it online,
mm,
so that the channelings can be done through me online.
mm.
So, but it's a bit daunting because I'm sort of modest. I don't like even to look at my face on the screen.
I don't either. I mean, we have a lot. We have an awful lot in common because we have a lot of things juggling around here
Yeah,
that we do, and there's that anxiousness of giving. Do you know what I
yes,
mean? You want to
yeah,
give them all your knowledge of anything because it is so valuable
it is.
when we overlook just the fact of knowing something.
Yes.
There's such value in that alone, and I got to tell you that doing all the different things that you do, automatic writing, intuitive healer. Tell me about your healing things
Ah,
there.
well, the healing came naturally. I was finding that I used to do it, and I still do in Spain, some tabletop sales to help a charity.
Mm-hmm.
So I would sit with my cards, sort of for personal readings, and some of the donation would go to the charity.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that as I sat with someone, I felt they needed healing because my healing guide would come in. And I
Oh.
might add, my healing guide is on the front of my first book.
Mm-hmm. Oh, nice.
It was actually drawn by Lynn Cottrell, that she works out of Arthur Findlay College, which is the hub of all the spiritualist churches around England. So, and she's an artist, so she's a psychic artist. And I
Oh.
had a sitting with her, and she did this wonderful picture of my gatekeeper guide and my healer, my Atlantean healer. And she
Oh.
said, Lesley, she says, when I come to do the eyes of this Atlantean healer, they wouldn't allow me to use any other colour but lavender. So there
Oh.
were beautiful lavender eyes,
Oh.
lavendery purple. And when I started to look back in some of my, I had loads of books on different subjects, as I said to you earlier.
Uh-huh.
In Spain, I've got loads whereby if a caller rings in, I can dip into my Egyptian, my Atlantean, whatever books I've got there.
Uh-huh.
So when I looked at the book I'd got on Atlantis, lo and behold, they had violet eyes.
Uh-huh. Wow. Wow. Now you see, now I got to look at the book now. I'm going to
Mm.
I'm going to search it out and look at it and probably order it. So
Oh,
but
bless you.
that is you you have people helping you bring your guides through, which is
Yes,
absolutely delightful.
yes.
I had one do that for me, and but I have one main guide. Do you have one main one, and then others that do come through for you?
Ah, now I can enlighten you on that because every time you're reborn, you get three guides, and your
Oh,
gatekeeper guide comes through with you at first, as you first start your new pathway. But as you walk along that pathway, your guides change because it's like going to a doctor and having someone with a specialized knowledge to
uh-huh.
heal you. So it's the same with your gatekeeper guide. As you get stronger with frequencies, as you get stronger with the vibrational energy, you
Hmm.
need a stronger guide to keep the lower entity out.
Uh-huh. Yes. Yes.
Okay, so that's your gatekeeper guide that does all that for you.
Hmm.
So your three guides are your gatekeeper guide, your philosopher guide, and your healing guide.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Well, you see, I when when I was six, I had a near death experience. So, and
Hmm.
at that time, 6 years old, I come to know, I guess you would say, my gatekeeper, but he's more
Hmm.
than that because he actually helps me find. And sends out the messages for those that are needed to come
Yes,
through, and
that's right.
and it's like I know his energy of essence is quite familiar. I know when he's here with me when I need him, and
Hmm.
then I'll have these other energies come through, and they are one is like all the compassion. You can feel that compassion,
Yes,
and the other one is more of wisdom and giving
that's
the
it.
wise advice. So,
Yeah, the compassionate one is that's your healer guide, and the
ah,
philosopher guide is the one that does all the words.
yeah, awesome.
Sometimes they give you poems, don't they? They sometimes give you quotes
Yes.
and
Oh,
poems.
well, I get comics. I mean,
Yes.
they give me some of the funniest things that I mean, they have a sense of humor, and I don't think a
Oh,
lot of
yes.
people know that they
No,
do. That there
no.
are some spirits out there and
Mm,
guides that have nothing but a sense of humor. So it's to me,
certainly.
those are my lift me ups.
Yes, exactly. Exactly
Yes.
right. And sometimes they dress in the most peculiar clothes
Yes.
just to make you
Yes.
smile.
Yeah, and even the funny thing is, I don't know if you ever did, but I pulled in a spirit for one of my clients, and only his head was showing,
Yes.
and he was making the most funniest sounds. But it was him, and that was my very first time of seeing spirit. Was
Oh,
seeing this
lovely.
head just bopping around the reader the reading client I was
Oh,
reading, the sitter,
yeah.
and it was just I couldn't figure it out. What is that? Why is it doing that? And she said, "Oh, well, that's my husband. That's my husband." And
Oh,
he only
bless.
yes, and then he came through in almost like a full apparition, not
Mhm.
totally full to where I could see his feet, but it was more of the body itself, and
Right.
what a lovely spirit that had come through. He's absolutely awesome, and he was my very first to come through. Although I would, when younger, did you start out just hearing, or were you able to hear and see
I
your
heard and I
guides?
saw, but I was only six,
Uh huh.
6 years of age at the time. So my mother used to just pass it off and say, "Oh, she's with her imaginary
Uh
friends again," because I
huh.
would put my blackboard easel up, an old-fashioned slate blackboard easel, and I would sort of sit all my dollies around and all my teddy bears around and pretend I'm talking to them. In fact, standing behind them, I could actually see spiritual children. And obviously,
Oh.
I was on my own. I was on my own for 7 years because my sister didn't come along till the 7 years had gone, and then she came along, and I had someone
Oh.
to companion. Then you see, it left me
Yes.
then, so
Oh.
it didn't come back till I was about 21, perhaps
Uh-huh.
about 21, because they do go away and come back when they feel you need them.
Uh-huh.
This is the way I work, simply because there are times of your life you're growing yourself and you need to find your own pathway, your own way to go
Mhm.
forward.
Yeah.
Because it's not right for spirit to say you must be doing this, you must be doing that. But free will enters into it.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Exactly. Wow. I there's some of the things that you're saying are just taking me back right back to my childhood too,
Hmm.
and it's it when did you start that learning hunger? I mean, just
Ah,
about all of the people that are their abilities are
right,
enhanced, they have this learning hunger. They need to find this. They
yes,
need to find
quite.
that.
Well, mine came with 8 bereavements within 2 years, and
Wow.
two of them was one was my father, and the other
Oh.
one, most important one, was my husband's mother, which is my mother-in-law. And
Mhm.
obviously, I was quite close to my mother-in-law. Actually, nobody else could get on with her, but I got on with her a treat. It
Uh-huh.
was just one of those connections.
Uh-huh.
But a friend of mine said to me, "Look, Lesley, you can't hit rock bottom any further.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to a spiritualist church. How do you feel about going with me?
Mhm.
To There must be a reason why Spirit is sending you all these knocks as such."
Mhm. Mhm.
So I went with her, but I did say to her, "Well, I'm not a really, really religious person."
Uh-huh.
And she says, "That's fine." She says, "The spiritualist church only believes in the life after life.
Mhm.
They're not heretic in any way. They
Mhm.
still believe in the guardian angels and all that, but they don't sort of open the Bible and spout messages from the Bible.
Mhm.
You all find your own way." And she says, "And every denomination goes through those doors." So
Mhm.
then I felt a little bit easier. So I walked through the doors of Hinkley Spiritualist Church, and I
Mhm.
loved it, absolutely loved it. And the upliftment from the medium giving me
Yes. Yes.
such messages
Mhm.
that I ended up in the kitchen doing the teas and coffees for everybody. And I went every day, I went every week then from then
Uh-huh.
on, and I
Uh-huh.
met quite a few mediums. And then within that year, the president stepped down, and the new president came up to me and she said, "Lesley, you'd make a wonderful secretary. How do you feel about being my secretary?" So I
Uh-huh.
became secretary of the church for 9 years.
Wow, very nice. See? Wow.
Yeah.
I know that the learning when I was younger, it was like it was like improper to say things to people that are in a private way. Do you know what I mean? But
Yes.
I was only
Yes.
6 and I didn't realize it. So lots of the times I was shushed. This is not the time or the place. I'll speak with you in a minute.
Yeah.
And that is what my mom would do for me. She didn't dismiss it,
No.
but she did put it on hold for me because she was teaching me how to kind of control opening
Yes.
and closing, to
Yeah.
being open to somebody and to being closing, which is, I didn't know at the time she was doing it, but it
Mm.
was of great help. And it wasn't until after into my 20s that
Yeah.
uh, I started to actually blossom out, other than doing
Mm.
readings for family and friends. But very interesting because
Mm.
that hunger thing is, and you read. You said you have books all over the place, and you're writing books.
I am now, yes. I've stopped reading. I've gone doing my own thing now. But I've
Hmm.
got to say, I'll tell you something really funny, Pat. My
Okay.
first real strong readings came
Hmm.
when I joined a company, a lingerie company, and I don't know whether you'll have heard of it. It's Ann Summers.
No, I haven't. No.
Right. Well, a lot of English listeners were going, "Ooh, he's one of them."
Ah.
It's a funny
Uh-huh.
kind of lingerie, beautiful lingerie. But anyway, I joined one of those, and I was spending more time when I was packing my clothes and different things because they have these plastic buzzy bits that you have to put away. It's one of them parties, and it really brought me out. And
Uh-huh.
it brought the laughter out. I tell you,
Oh my gosh.
we had a good time. And I've got to say, I had 3 generations in the one room at the time because I wasn't putting it over smutty. I was putting it over straight.
Uh-huh.
There was a lot of women out there that wasn't enjoying the marital bed. Can I put it that way? So that's the kind of parties that I was doing, quite out of the ordinary. And I was spending more time, as I say, when I was packing my clothes up and putting them back into my case, and
Hmm.
then suddenly shooting out a message to somebody in the room. Don't One I do remember very keenly. Don't forget that she'll still love you even though she's on the other side. And
Uh-huh.
the room just stopped dead
Wow.
still. And then I started to give messages. Well, it was 1 o'clock in the morning by the time I was getting home.
Oh my God. Yes, you get on a roll, like, you know what I mean? You
Exactly,
can't.
exactly. So I thought, well, one of these jobs have got to go.
Oh my gosh. From what you're saying, I have to relate with you and to let you understand that I know exactly where you're coming from, because when I used to do fair events. Okay, if there
Yeah.
was a street fair or some sort of fair
Ah,
taking place, I
yes.
would go there and I
Mm,
would read palms, and
yes.
the line would go all the way down the block and around, and it's like, oh my gosh! So you get on a roll, and I don't know how many people I read in the sitting down there, but let me tell you, it was nonstop, and
Yeah.
and you don't know you have that energy to do that, and then you
Yeah.
just stop thinking about um okay, I got another one here, or
Yeah.
another one
That's
is
right.
sitting down.
That's
You
right.
just go into it because it's coming through. It's like,
Yes.
and does it?
It's like bullets, one after the other.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. So
Yeah.
do you have did you learn the control of opening and closing, and how did that work with you?
Well, yes, I joined a circle at the church, which was an open circle,
Oh
but
yes, yes.
unfortunately, I was too, and I'm not coming from an ego area here. I was too highly tuned for
Uh-huh.
that circle. It wasn't the right circle for me, and I
Hmm.
didn't really blossom until I went to Spain to live because I could do it my way, and I could really spread my wings and do other
Yes.
things, you know.
Hmm.
Um, but but you know, I mean, life does throw you some funny curves at times. I mean, there's so I tell you, when I worked with Ann Summers, my boss, we had a room together in this hotel in Jersey, and
Hmm.
it was a gift, you know, sort of giving out for all those for their hard work through the year. It was
Hmm.
one of those giving evenings, and it got round that I could pass on messages, and spirit was involved, you know, and all
Hmm.
this. Anyway, by the time I didn't realise, we went back to the room. You said, you know, losing time with when you go doing messages, and
Hmm.
they were lining up down the hallway in
Yes,
this
see?
hotel,
Hmm.
and there was just me in the room, and my boss had gone to bed at the end of the day because it was 6 o'clock in the morning when I finished.
Yes.
And somebody said I'd done 40 that night,
Oh my gosh.
and I didn't feel tired at all.
I know. That is so true, because it's like you're not really using your energy. Spirit is coming through and making that energy to flow, and it's like in a way it's a blessing, because we don't get too exhausted when we're in it. You know what I mean? We don't.
That's
It
right.
it it keeps our energy alive and going well.
That's quite
So.
true. That's very
um,
true.
Okay, we're coming up on a break, so let's
Right.
go. Let's go, and we'll do that, and then we'll be back with more of Lesley Shepherd. She's most delightful. Don't go away, because we will be right back. Hello and welcome back to OTCR. I'm Sprinkles Nixon. I'm your host for today, and our delightful, most loving, and most delightful person is Lesley Shepherd, who is our most special guest today. So, Lesley, I wanted to connect with you. So, are all your readings done automatic writing?
No, my readings are done straight from my sixth sense.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay.
I tune into spirit. In fact, my guides are with me all the time that I'm speaking to you,
Uh-huh.
so that I'm guided in a certain way. And if a listener was to phone into the program, then
Yes.
I will tune in with them and I will get their messages to their loved ones and hopefully get some loved ones coming in. And I don't work on names. I often,
Mm-hmm.
sort of just give them the attribute of what the person was like or what they look like, and I prefer to do that. Um, Occasionally, I get an odd name.
Ah, okay. So, anybody that's interested and would love to speak with Lesley and receive a reading, you can call in to 1-520-549-5149. So, give us a call and let's see what Lesley will share with you. So, Leslie, on the when you do the automatic writing, do you have to set yourself into a different kind of phase? Because see,
Yeah.
I would think so because
Hmm.
myself being a tarot reader and a palm reader,
Hmm.
my working of them is like totally different, and it's like
It
opening up
is.
a certain channel. So,
Yeah.
does that work with you as well?
Yeah, I often find that if I have a photograph of the person I would like to contact, which most people have, and if
Mm-hmm.
they're in that state of grieving for that person, it's lovely to be able to. It's like I liken it to picking the telephone up to someone when they're on the earth plane.
Mm-hmm.
So all you're doing is channeling the words down onto paper. So you would ask that photograph, you look at the photograph and you ask
Mm-hmm.
a particular question, how are you? Where,
Mm-hmm.
who are you with now? Was
Mm-hmm.
the transition good, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever question you would like to tell. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I want to say maybe I love you. I want to be able to give you a hug.
Yeah.
Give me some words back.
Uh-huh.
And then they will write in a different handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
That's important because your
Wow.
handwriting's different to the handwriting that comes in from spirit. And in
Oh.
fact, as I decipher them to put into a book, I know which spirit is actually written to me.
Wow, now that is fascinating. You would think that it would be your own handwriting because you're the one
No.
that's doing the writing. So,
Hmm.
wow, I didn't know that actually takes
Hmm.
place there. So, well, is that kind? Did you start off doing that with the automatic
Yes.
writing? You did.
I
Okay.
did. In fact, At the very beginning, because I didn't know what I was doing, I knew that I wanted to channel. I just
Mm-hmm,
had this urge to be able to speak to spirit. So when I first started, the pen just went into a doodle, like a
oh.
scrawl. And I said, okay, I know you are trying to guide, in my mind's eye, I said, okay, I know you're trying to get in touch with me. Please give me your name.
Mm-hmm,
Even though I'd got the photograph there and I was guiding that entity to speak to me, I wanted to make sure.
mm-hmm.
So it then came back with, Dad, I'm here. It's Dad. And the writing was very tiny. Now,
Oh.
when he passed, he left a poem that he'd found in a newspaper and he'd written it out in his handwriting. And when I
Mm-hmm.
come to clear his clothes out of his wardrobe, then I found this tucked away in a pocket.
Oh.
And I think it was just for me to find
Yes.
and to show that the evidence was there when I come to write with him. And he was so strongly, and I was so grieving for him,
Mm-hmm.
which you do, your father. I mean, I was daddy's girl, so
Uh,
obviously,
uh,
this is it.
lovely, lovely. The other thing I wanted to touch bases with you on
Mhm.
is well, I just had it and it kind of escapes me. Was when you are doing the writing and the automatic writing, and the spirit does come through, are you
Mhm.
also sensing the feeling
Yes,
as it's being written?
yes. In fact, you feel different vibrations in your body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when you're giving healing to someone, you can feel as if your body's straightening, your palms are going quite hot before you're giving them healing, and you
Mm-hmm.
zone into different areas of the person you're giving healing, whether
Mm-hmm.
it be absent healing or whether it be hands-on healing. So that's that healing vibration. So obviously the same a different type of vibration and frequency would come from your gatekeeper guide, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
I get the actual strength of the gatekeeper guide coming in. Now,
Oh,
when you
wow.
come into off-world, when you come to the extraterrestrial side of it all, then
Mm-hmm.
it's different again. And the handwriting is big and it's flowery and they're giving you quotations to do with the animal life or the trees and the fauna or Mother Earth sort of
Oh.
questions.
Oh my gosh. So how did that take place? How did you start contacting other dimensions with it other than spirit dimension?
I think I'd gone as far as I could go on the third dimensional link. The
Wow.
third dimensional link is just person to person, entity to entity.
Yes.
But I needed, I had a thirst for knowledge. I just wanted as much knowledge as I could
Mm-hmm.
take
Mm-hmm.
because I felt with writing the books I needed more and more and more. And it didn't come in until that second book, that intellectual book.
Mm-hmm.
And they started to come into me there. And I was feeling as if they wanted to take over my voice box.
Oh.
And I said no, I don't want you to come through the voice box because I felt unsafe because I was
Yes.
trying to do it on my own, and you should never do trance meditation on your own
Uh-huh.
because you haven't got anybody else in the room to pull you out of it if an uncertain entity was to enter.
Oh, I see. I see. Well, I don't think I'd ever get into channeling myself either.
No.
I like being in control of me.
Exactly. Well, they bless them, bless their hearts. They actually
Mm.
did it so that I could still be in control of my body, but they were only using that part of my voice box. But I still could hear the voice. I could still hear the words coming through. I could
Mm-hmm.
still sort of sense my own body. So
Mm-hmm.
they come halfway with me.
Yes. My goodness. Oh, you got so much going on, and we're probably only just touching little bases with you here in this 1 hour show. But what else? What would you like to share with people with regards to getting into that? And do you meditate? You know that kind of
Yes.
thing. Wha-
I would like to be able to do because now that I've got used to Skype,
Mhm.
and I had thrown it out there to do bridging circles. So it means that I would teach someone to be a channeler, the same as myself, and
Mhm.
to use their voice box. But obviously on Skype, you can see the other person and you can bring them on so you know there's somebody else in the room. So if they were to get into difficulties, I can bring them back to here and now.
Yes. Oh, so you do you? I'm sorry. Do you teach these things as well?
Yes.
You
I've always
do.
taught. I've always taught
Oh.
since a little episode happened, and I'm not going to go into details with it, but a little episode happened within the church's ranks as
Uh-huh.
such, in the little church that I was with, and at the same time I wanted to move to Spain, so it meant a cut-off point. So
Yes.
at that cut-off point, that's when I started to develop in a different way and holding circles, not just at home, which I've
Mhm.
been doing in the UK, but to actually hold circles outside and with strangers as such,
Mhm.
rather than just friends. And that's when the tutor side in me came out
Mhm.
because I felt, I'm one of these people, Pat, that if I do something, if I promise somebody I'm going to do it, I do it.
Yes. Yes.
Because I feel I'm letting spirit down if I don't.
Yes.
So,
Exactly.
what you see is what you get, sort of
Mhm.
thing. And I'm the same with my readings. Whatever, if the person can't take the reading, then I will say, okay, hold that. It will develop with you as we go off the air. So
Yes.
obviously they can think about it, ask
Mhm.
members of family about it, and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, the development of that kind of tutoring
Uh-huh.
come very natural to me
Uh-huh.
because I want to do the best I can.
Are you are can you and are you doing classes like on Skype?
I've tried twice to do this, but it didn't seem to. I tried to do it so that whoever would Skype me with their friends in the room,
Mhm.
and we did a wonderful one with one lady where she invited 4 or 5 of her friends round, but they didn't turn up the next time. So it sort
Oh,
of dropped on its, whether it's because she'd got the information how to hold a circle, and she then went her own way and did her own circles. And I don't
ah,
mind that. I mean,
uh,
I've done my job, haven't I? You know.
exactly. Yes, it's making people aware and understanding,
But
and
I think the stumbling block was actually the money side of it all, because I needed the money to get my books printed. So
ah,
obviously, whatever revenue I could get in, then it wasn't going to me, it was going to the books printed.
mm-hmm,
So obviously I asked for, I think, something like £5 sterling a person
mm-hmm.
to sit in group. Now I spent 2 hours in the group and I didn't feel, the money never got to me, put it that way.
Ah, well, what I used to do is because I didn't really like dealing with money. I
No,
don't.
snap.
It's such a materialistic thing. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? To me, it's like no, I don't. I don't want to know about that. That's not my.
that's
That's
right.
not what I'm here for. I want to connect with the people.
Yeah,
But I had to figure out how I could do it. So I set up a jar, and but you can't do that on Skype though.
no, you can't.
And I'd have donations there, and
Yes,
people would put in whatever they could or whatever they
that's
wanted
right.
to or whatever.
Yeah,
But I did that for quite a few years, and I
yeah,
was very surprised. And the other thing is, like your own work, it's like your work speaks for yourself,
exactly.
and it gets
Yeah.
out there. So I can. You must be some sort of relative to me from the past because there's so much about you
Yes.
that I can resonate with,
Wonderful, wonderful.
and it's delightful because even with the books. Now, to me, I have a room full of books here, but the thing is this giving need, which is very
Mm,
very strong, and it's like
it is.
sometimes you just can't back away from it. But you do have, I mean, I'm not putting it down for any of the uh, readers that charge for their readings. That's
No,
a passing back and forth of energy, and if this
yes.
is what they used, then that's fine too. I mean, there's nothing wrong
Hmm.
with it because they do have to supply certain things that
Exactly.
transportation, um, uh, books, whatever it may be.
Mm,
But
mm.
again, it's being fed into that
Yeah.
giving out to others, and bringing that awareness about. So, uh, so so tell me now, do you have any events coming up for you?
None at all, because I'm here in England only for a short while.
Hmm.
Because both of our health need is here in the UK. So obviously, when we're back in Spain, we want to make sure that we're going to be healthy enough to go back to Spain. And when I'm in Spain, I do more work there. But I've got to say that the event that I do is usually for charity, and
Yes. Hmm.
I do readings for the charities. So,
Hmm.
but I also sell my gemstone jewellery because I find that even
Oh,
making up the gemstone jewellery gives you the healing qualities of those gemstones. So again, if a caller wants to call in and say they've got a certain stone, then I
hmm,
can usually enlighten them as to what that stone would help the body to do.
awesome. Absolutely. Awesome. See, that's another thing. See now, well, how do you go about, do you have them on the website? I didn't see that.
No, I don't, because it's just purely you get into the postage side of the system, which really and truly that pushes the price of your jewellery up.
Hmm.
So on the bring and buys or the psychic fairs that I do in Spain, then
Hmm.
obviously I can sell them to make refund my funds, if you like, for my
Yes,
books.
yes.
So basically, one book actually pays for the next, and
Uh-huh.
that's how I've been working it out.
Lovely, lovely.
Because for the simple reason, the ebook side of it all, Amazon are very, very slow at you receiving your money.
Hmm. Yes, it is.
So,
Yes.
I mean, I can't rely on that for any kind of remunerance for the next book to be issued, if you understand
Hmm.
me.
Yes. Well, you know that I do have a digital magazine that goes out once a month, and I'd
Yeah.
love to have your just if you can set up some pictures of your gems, set up some pictures
Yeah.
of your books. I mean, I can get you out there.
Okay,
It,
darling. I
yeah,
tell you one thing you can help me with.
yes.
I have just started because I'm into the bridging guide realm at the moment,
Hmm.
and extraterrestrials, they've been giving me these messages, and normally they just sign off with
Hmm.
a certain squiggle, which is only theirs. And that becomes clear in that third book because I've got a page full of them. But I have started to get them signing off with hieroglyphics.
Oh,
Now, the hieroglyphics I would like to put through as an article for you because I need the input of other people. Maybe they're getting the same. We
yes.
need to be able to decipher them, and I haven't yet been able to decipher them. And there's something must be important in those messages that have been
Mm-hmm.
coming through in hieroglyphics. Now,
Wow.
I've actually had a friend that was, she follows Egyptology, and it's
Mm-hmm.
definitely not Egypt hieroglyphics. I
Oh.
have books on Atlantis, it's definitely not Atlantean.
Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh my goodness gracious. I wanted to ask you too, is that with all that you're doing here, and all the different streams, which one do you enjoy the best, if not all of them?
Extraterrestrial every time.
Really?
Yes.
Well, I have a friend I can introduce you to because she kind of gives like little lessons on how to contact them and what how they communicate. And I'd love for you to share what you have and what she has because I want to get down to it because I do believe that there are other dimensional beings that are out there. I mean, where I live, it's totally the sky is so active and it's amazing, and I can't catch it on the cell phones.
No. Well, I can honestly tell you I've seen my portal for the first time in Spain.
You
The
did.
portal itself, yeah, because as I said to you before, I'd got my upturned images to the sky, which is what made me want the house that we've got there. And I will show it you when I can get online with you when I'm back. And I'll
Uh-huh.
show it you with the pictures, I'll show you around with the video. But the actual portal happened to happen to the next ridge on the mountains. And it was like a light coming, it was like a light beam coming down, but not touching the earth.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
how I know it was a portal and not anything else.
Oh.
And really, we do get aircraft coming through the valley, but nothing. I've never actually seen a UFO as such. I've only ever seen this portal. And I
Mhm.
asked them to give me more evidence, but they won't. I don't think
Oh.
they want to spook me because at the moment they're happy to just channel through me.
Oh my goodness. That is so. I myself had I didn't find out about it, but let me explain to you. I astral project sometimes, and I do it
Yes,
consciously, not subconsciously.
right.
I do it while I'm awake, and I was taken up to this. I had gone up to this level. I mean, I was just going straight up. Just going, and then I stopped at a platform, and I had seen this. I think it's a tall gray they would be, but he was also a gatekeeper, and there was these tunnels all around, like a tunnel. There was three of them there that I seen. But what it was showing me was that this was the, it. It showed me the earth covered almost like in a netting, in an invisible netting, and where.
I can tell you what that is.
Oh, what is that?
It's called the 144 grid.
Get. I gotta
You
check this out.
you Google 144 grid, and what it is at each point of those, you were saying it's like
Yes.
a mesh. Okay, at each point there's so many points, 144 of them that are around the globe, and
Oh my.
basically they've buried sort of really big crystals on those 144 grids. But Google it yourself and you'll find out more on
Oh
that
my
subject. But
goodness.
that's what it is. That's what you saw.
Oh my goodness, that is something I'm definitely going to find out about. But this was also shown to me to where that's how spirit moves about as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
So and it's like this net around the earth, and I thought,
Hmm.
wow, that
It's for
is
protection.
amazing.
It's
Yes.
protection, and a lot of people they take the nasty side of greys. There is
Oh,
also a good
yes.
side of greys. My particular beings are from the Andromeda region, so
Ah.
they're quite Nordic
Uh-huh.
and very
Mhm.
angelic. I get the angelic.
Yeah.
Beautiful faces and that sort of thing that comes through. But again, on the third book, Masters to Masters, Nuntian is actually on the front of that cover. And
Oh,
again, it was Lynn Cottrell that done the drawing for me. So
wow.
that if you look at that, you'll see that it's an angelic Nordic looking
Uh-huh.
face.
Yes, yes, yes. Um, there's that don't you believe that in all life there's good and there's bad because it's the
Yes,
yin and yang, so it has to kind of
exactly.
work its balance out in itself. So I don't when I speak of spirit, and then they have these ghost investigations and such,
Hmm.
and it's like, well, if they just because they pass over doesn't mean they change.
No, they don't. That's right.
It's a part of their life that they've lived through and
Hmm.
that experience itself. But
Yeah,
you are abs. I'm amazed you got. I'm definitely going to look that up, and I'm looking going to be looking at your books because I want to
yeah.
see. I want to see the picture of the spirit that came through for you there, and my goodness, we have only about 8 minutes left. So,
Yeah, we do.
um,
We do.
I, anybody, if you'd like, give us a call in. It's 1-520-549-5149. Before we run out of time, give us a call. Lesley Shepherd will do a beautiful reading for you if you'd like. So do call us and join us as well if you have any questions that you have for us. Leslie, where can we touch bases now? Anything in particular you want to say?
Well, basically, to those that are trying this new pathway, the spiritual pathway,
Hmm.
before any communication goes ahead, please, please, please do a prayer to start
Yes.
with. Whatever denomination you are, you need to bring the angelic realm in for protection
Hmm.
and feel the white light around you. Be comfortable with the white light around you. And
Hmm.
if you do decide to do automatic writing, if the writing goes off the scale, if it's really scribbly, awful writing and you feel that awful vibration, stop immediately.
Oh, see. Hmm. Nice. Very nice. Wow. I didn't think of that. Uh, so have you ever had the contact with the aliens? There or what? Let's put it this way. What was your most fascinating connection?
That came in spirit form when
Ah.
I did a circle and I did my second or probably third channeling through the throat because I wanted to show the circle how it could be done safely.
Mhm.
And I led them through the meditation and then pulled them and showed them how I allow myself to be in the now, be in the
Mhm.
room, but
Mhm.
also feel allow them to use my voice box. And I felt my gatekeeper guide come through me for the first time in that way. It was phenomenal
Ah.
because he's an Indian chief, and he
Oh.
came through. And my arms, I'm doing it now. My arms were sort of like an Indian chief would, one arm on top of the other.
Uh-huh.
Do you know how I mean? With
Yes. Yes.
right placed arms, and my whole back straightened, and this deep voice came out, and it was him, and he was sort of welcoming the group and saying that they were all fully protected.
Oh, lovely, lovely. Oh my gosh, I'm just about getting chills over here with that. I just want to take this moment to let our listeners know about where they can contact you, and that's at www.leslieshepherd-medium.com. Okay, so be sure to check her out. I've also posted it in the chat room that I have here going, and I was
So
hoping.
so they'll channel through you on that. That's not my website. That's your website, is it?
No, the Lesley Shepherd hyphen medium.
No, my website is www dot automatic writing, all one word.
Oh, you
At
kidding me? I put out the wrong.
no,
Oh
yeah,
my gosh! Why didn't you
dot.
say something?
Okay, I didn't see it. Dot
Oh,
co. Dot uk. Okay, so can I
yeah,
repeat that? It's
yes, please.
www dot automatic writing, all one word, dot co. Dot uk, and that's my website.
Oh my gosh! I put out the. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry, sweetheart. You
Oh my
can you can
goodness.
you can edit it. That's fine. I don't mind
Yes.
that.
Yes,
Because you see, the thing is, Pat, on that website, I actually give all the things we've been talking about tonight. I give you what each guide does, and I
mm-hmm.
actually have a blog there, of which doesn't get done as often as I would like because I never got the time. But there's a blog page as well. There's 4 pages on different
Uh-huh.
things,
Oh
so
my.
that answers a lot of their questions, and then they'll
Yes.
come back to you hopefully.
Yes, please do. I'll be happy to connect you with Lesley. She's the most delightful lady, and we have about maybe just 2 minutes left. And I want to thank you, Lesley. You've been absolutely delightful, and I'd love to have you come back. And as you know, whenever you just give me a yell, and you're welcome back anytime.
Thank you.
I and please check out her books, okay? That she has. They can be found on Amazon and in the ebooks. Um, and give a nice little read there. Contact her. Let her know what you think about the show that she has joined me here for, and we'll be delighted to hear from you. Any last words, Lesley?
Just to say that to look out for the articles which I'm going to send to
Yes,
you for your
yes,
digital magazine.
yes, and that's off the cuff ezine.com, and the digital magazine comes out the first of every month. It's out on the first of every month. So September issue is coming up, so be sure to check it out. There's going to be lots of Lesley in there because I think she's just awesome, and she deserves to be heard and shared about. So thank you again, Lesley. I
You're
deeply
welcome.
appreciate it. We got to do this again. Yeah, I had fun. I hope you did. And we'll talk again soon. Love and light, everybody. And thanks for joining us here on the OTCR. St. Jude's Children Research Hospital, treating the toughest cases. We have the world's best survival rates for some of the most aggressive cancers. St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Advancing cures. What happens when you give the world's brightest minds the resources to do something remarkable? Cures. St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. Reaching the world. We share our research with the world, leading a global effort to understand, to treat, and defeat pediatric cancer and other life-threatening diseases. Please, won't you give to our life-saving mission? Give to St. Jude's Children Research Hospital. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of the OTCR, its affiliates, and or sponsors.